Okay. Good afternoon. My name is LaJoya Johnson. Welcome to Love on Our Terms, our virtual session. And we're going to go ahead and talk about dating, love, relationships, and all the things in between. So thank you for being a part of this discussion. We have a great panel and an amazing host. I am so excited for you all to be here. This will be recorded for the people who are not able to attend. They just need to contact me and I'll go ahead and provide them with the recording. But my name is LaJoya Johnson. I am the founder of Black Educated Lesbians, founded September 10th, 2014. We are now a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization, and we do events like this every month. I want to make sure that all professional Black lesbians have a space to speak and have different topics that we can talk about. So next month in March, we're going to talk about Black lesbians in film and the arts, and I hope you can attend that. But I will go ahead and pass it on to our host, Charity J. She has been a facilitator, a part of the BEL conference for healthy relationships every year for the past 2 years. So thank you so much. And go ahead. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, LaJoya. I am so happy to be here. This topic, is very near and dear to my heart. I care so much about our love and our pleasure, as Black women, especially those of us who are lesbians, but as our in our queer community as a whole. And so, this conversation is so necessary for us to have communal conversations where we can get these things out and then have experts amongst us, who can talk about why we think the way that we do or move the way that we do in our relationships is so important. So, I'll introduce myself and then I'll allow the other panelists to introduce themselves and then we will get into it if that's okay with everybody. As LaJoya said, I've been a part of BEL for a minute. I am an author, a coach, relationship and dating coach. And I work a lot in our community to better our relationships and have conversations with individuals about those things. Most recently, I've added sex doula to that. And so that's been kind of fun. I'll say it's been kind of fun. And so in this space today, we have a few individuals who are going to talk about their relationships with love and where they are in life today. And hopefully, this discussion will allow us to affirm some things about ourselves, free ourselves from some of these spaces, and at least open up and have a clear understanding that we're not the only ones going through the things that we go through. We're not the only ones trying to navigate things and figure it out, and know that we do have community as a whole that's out here doing the same things with us. With that, let's get started. The first person, actually, we'll just go in order, and I'll just allow y'all to speak up as you're ready.
I think the order is different from uh what everybody sees. So
Okay.
yeah, you have to pick them.
All right. Well, let's go
Yeah.
with Ashley first.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I'm from Atlanta, born and raised. In my 30s, so I'm 33. So I'm just out here navigating through life. Um, Chose to be a part of this podcast because I really, like she said, this is a conversation that need to be had. And talking about lesbian love relationship is a really good topic, and I really am glad to be a part of it.
All right. Good deal. Thank you. Next we have Anthonita. I knew I was gonna get the names very interesting. So.
You're on mute. Yeah. Still on mute. Still on mute. Let me see if I can unmute you.
I got you.
There you go.
Y'all got me now?
Yep, we got you.
Okay. I'm Anthonita. I am 52. I am, like I told them last night, I'm considered like a serial dater. And I consider myself there because of the fact that I have learned how to love myself finally. And so I don't I go out on a lot of dates and I don't just settle for what's presented. And so it has put me in a position to go on more dates because I am I love me. And I've realized the older I've gotten, the more I pour into me, the more attractive I've become to other people. And so that puts me in a position to date a lot. And I do want to settle down because I'm tired. I'm tired. So I felt like this was a good opportunity to kind of get clarity and to see where my next chapter will place me. That's it.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Next I have Alexis here.
Hey everybody, my name is Alexis. I'm 39. I'm from Harlem, New York. And this interests me because I am 12 weeks and maybe 8 or 9 days free from a chaotic relationship. So I
Mhm.
count time between people because I feel like that matters. I feel like if you could do 90 days from somebody, it changes your perspective on the whole relationship. And I realized I didn't even really like this girl. That was the kicker. It's like, oh my God, she's nice. But yeah, I'm just here to share my experience, strength, and hope dating as a as a black lesbian. It's very interesting the dynamics of different relationships that I have been in, like long-term relationships. So I'm just here to, share my experience, strength, and hope, and hopefully, hear somebody else's experience, strength, and hope, and learn something from it. So yeah.
Nice, thank you. And then we have Jaseni. Then please tell me when I'm pronouncing y'all's names wrong. I'm gonna work on it as we go through.
Thank you so much. Jessany is perfect. My name is Dr. Jessany Maldonado. I'm an assistant professor in Connecticut. And I joined this panel due to submitting a conference proposal to LaJoya for the BEL conference in September. So I'm very happy to participate and contribute to topics pertinent to Black lesbian relationships, Black sexuality, and sex education. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessany. With that, I do actually want to start with Jessany to kick us off, if that's okay. I actually wrote some of these questions that I have for you after having a conversation with you all. And so we'll start with from your lens, as a Black feminist and sexuality scholar, how do you see Black women navigating desire, pleasure, and partnership differently today?
Well, I actually published a research article on this Black women, loving women, same gender desires and partnerships. So, what I found, and this was actually conducted in the city of Atlanta and also all around the country with different interviews. So, what I found is that Black women loving women, they prefer character over anything else, over phenotypes, over physical characteristics, etc. If you have your own living, if you have your own mind, if you have your own intellectuality, basically, if you are independent and can stand on your own, that makes you attractive to a wide conglomerate of fellow Black men loving women. So, looks are secondary to that because you can be the most beautiful artifact in the world, but if there's nothing behind that skull, that makes the attraction go all the way down. If you are codependent and needing of a therapist in addition to a partner, that is not attractive as well because that means unpaid labor once again for Black women, even in relationships where they are supposed to feel safe and not feeling as though they have to work again for free. So that's what I found that Black women loving women do differently and uniquely from different populations of people.
Okay. For the other panelists we have in the experiences that we've talked about that you all have you seen where you've been expected to work and labor for free in relationships? Would any of you want to take on that one?
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree what she just said. Like, not this past relationship, but I was in a 3-year relationship with a young lady, and the intellectual conversation was there, everything was there, where everything is going smoothly. And it wasn't until maybe I want to say about 3 months. It's something about 90 days that does something. Something cracks in 90 days. I feel like the real personality or the real thing happens. And me, I'm thinking, I'm showing up as me. I don't really have the representative. This is how I am. I'm high energy octane majority of the time, And 90 days in, it's just like, okay, well, I'm having this problem. And the way she would pose it, because I started to have strong like for her. I'm not going to say I loved her at that point. I had strong like, and I had to know what the difference between like and love was in that process as well. And she became extremely needy. So I totally agree. Like and this is really harsh what I'm going to say, but my respect and everything just kind of went down for her. It was just like, okay, what is this? I didn't sign up for this, And a part of me felt forced to stay because I'm 90 days in now. And we're kind of locked in, so it's
Hmm.
like, okay, do I just leave at your lowest point? But it's like you're having a lot of low points. A lot of low things are happening, and I don't see you being proactive to do something to change it or to do. I'm a type of person like, if you're pushing your car, I'm going to help you push your car because you're pushing your car. So we can
Yeah.
push the car. But it wasn't a we thing. It was like, okay, Alexis, I'm going through and I'm so solution based. It's like, okay, let's figure this out. Let's figure that out. And it became exhausting. Like when I would be around her, my spirit would be exhausted. I would just
Hmm.
be like, whew, goodness, I couldn't wait to get after that. And it's like you don't want to feel that way about your partner. You don't want
Yeah.
to feel exhausted. So, yeah, I totally agree. Whatever research you did, doctor, you're doing a fabulous job because that is exactly that. You got to the exact nature because I've experienced it myself. So, yeah.
That was great. Thank you for adding that. You hit so many nuggets in there. I want to come back to. I know we're not gonna have time today, but that was good. I love that you keep hitting on this 90 days, and I see our good doctor in here. It's just like every time you say, she's like, yeah, yep. As far as that, the imposter going away and the true portions of us come out. I think that's normal though. I think there's also the other side that just get to know each other better after that 3 month period. Even if I'm not bringing the imposter, you're getting to see just more of my life and more of me. And so there's definitely something to that. With that though, I want to pivot to Anthonita, and please tell me if I'm saying your name wrong early. Because one thing that you said, and I believe this is when we met, you came out in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I want to ask you what surprised you the most about dating women at this stage in your life? And does any of this, can you relate to anything that's been said?
I relate to all of it. What surprised me most was the emotional aspect. I used to be very emotional when I was dating men. And I found myself now in this stage of my life more calm and more familiar with me. And I'm meeting women that have not had therapy, who are not in tune with themselves. And so I think sometimes we attract when when we are in a certain place, sometimes people who need what we have may become more attracted to us because they need something that we have. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And that has been difficult because what's happening is I'm meeting women who are where I used to be
Hmm.
instead of where I am now. And they cling to me and they they just won't detach from me.
Hmm.
And they make me feel guilty because I choose me. And so I was in a long-term relationship last year, and there was a lot of guilt placed on me, and I was trying to figure
Mm.
out if I was a good person or not. And what was the second question? You asked the second question.
Can you relate to anything that's been going on, and
Yeah,
then what's been your
I
experience? But I
yeah,
think you
it's
answered both of them.
yeah, okay, good. But yeah, that's basically what it's just been difficult because
Yeah.
I want to meet somebody like Dr. Jessamy described, somebody that just meets me there, and it's
Right.
really hard. Yeah.
So I have this question, and this one might be for Dr. Justine. I'm gonna save that one. I'm gonna ask you this. What do you do when you notice? Because you say you're a serial dater, you understand your worth, and you're growing in that space. And so when you're meeting these women that are clinging to something that they need, but it's something that you would like for your partner to have, as far as the alignment goes, what do you do in those situations?
Um, I'm honest, and I basically give them a survey after the date. And so like one lady, she took me out to eat, and she asked me for a second date. And I said no because I had to carry the conversation. And I'm looking
Hmm.
for someone more intellectual and somebody that I don't have to be a hype man for.
Hmm.
And one of the other ladies, I had a crush on her for years, and we went out, and she just was not what I expected her to be. And so when she chose to walk me to the car, I said, I'm glad we had this experience. I said, because I don't like you. And I was honest with her. She was like, you don't like me? I was like, no, because it was the worst date, and but I had wrote her a letter before. This was the cute part. I had wrote her a letter before the date, hoping that it would be a great date to tell her how wonderful she is. And so when the date ended, after I told her I didn't like her anymore, I said, but I'm still going to give you this letter because I'm okay with me. And she messaged me and was like, thank you for the letter. That was sweet. But I was like, I'm over it. So
Yeah.
but I'm honest after every date.
Oh, what I appreciate about that, I'm honest. I'm honest after every date. I'm honest in all my relationships, the dates, but I love that part because if we're honest in the dating, then we tend to get in better relationships and more alignment with individuals around
Mhm.
us. And this isn't just with our dating. We're talking about dating right now, but when you start surrounding yourself with the people that align with you, then that makes the dating people who you like, who you enjoy, who you want to be with much easier. And so it's good that you're honest with those individuals. But you said something key. And I don't know if it was before when we spoke or today, but you've been honest with yourself. And when we start doing that, it makes it much easier to be honest with those around us. So I love this one. Let's pivot over to Ashley. Ashley, are you able to resonate with anything that we've discussed thus far?
Absolutely. I've been in like I told you previously, like two relationships. Both of them, like with especially with the first one, I had to like show up and be something outside of myself, like in order to please her, because basically we had two different religious black backgrounds. And so I had to be show up in a way to where like I was willing to compromise, but she wasn't really compromise. So I'm trying to make her happy, even though it's like I'm slowly losing myself. And she had so much stuff going on where she had some childhood trauma to where I had to keep working because she kept trying to push me away. And I had to keep working with her. And I see she was trying to get therapy for herself. So, me being me, I'm a fixer. So, if I see something wrong, I'm going to try to fix it. But it's like on the same note, it's like trying to help her was hurting me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started to really like, it was like more of me not really caring about myself and caring more about her. So I think to me, when I heard someone say that they love their self, loving me and choosing me, I did not choose me. And so it's like me not choosing me let me know that I have to kind of value myself and my emotions because you can't expect someone to come into it. You can't expect someone to make you feel a certain way if if you try to be in a relationship with someone and they treat you a certain way and you don't value your feelings and don't value who you are, you're gonna tolerate anything. You're gonna let them
Mm-hmm.
treat you any kind of way.
Yeah.
So that right there, I learned so much. And having a working relationship, the other relationship I've been in, it's like everything was good. Like she said, after a few like weeks, it just seemed like everything just went downhill. she just stopped doing the work. She didn't want to
Yeah.
do the work. I would text her, she stopped calling me, we stopped talking. And it's like the conversation started getting really dry. And I kept trying to do everything to make it work. And then halfway through, she's sitting here saying, I can't give you 100%.
Mm.
I don't like unbalanced relationships.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have one person giving 100% and the other person not willing to give 100% because one person is gonna get burned out.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, I can relate to a lot of the things that they were saying.
That was a great point. It's an unbalanced relationship.
Yeah.
That actually takes me to one of my questions for Dr. Justiny. What do you think gets in the way of Black women feeling fully aligned emotionally, sexually, spiritually in their relationships?
I would like to put the spotlight on Anthonyta's contribution earlier in this session, where it all comes down to self love. If we play ourselves first, then that teaches other people how to play us too. So if we don't love ourselves, if we don't show other people that we love ourselves through how we dress, through how we walk, through how we talk, through how we treat ourselves, that teaches them how to treat us. On the reverse
Hmm.
side, if we're pouring into ourselves, if we're looking good, we're feeling good, we're smelling good, we uphold high standards at all times in order to avoid these low quality experiences, that also teaches people how to treat us. So when it comes to teaching people how to treat us, other people can also teach us how to treat them as well. And this reminds me with Ashley speaking of the psychologist B.F. Skinner, where he examined intermittent reinforcement. So often people in the beginning show us what Alexis mentioned earlier, this representative, all these good things. We're love bomb. They're putting on their best display of the facade of who they are. And then we expect that. So then they start pulling away. Then they start breadcrumbing. And then we're trying to think that we got to pour in and sacrifice and work in order to get that representative back. But that person
Hmm.
never coming back. So
Right.
that makes us trick ourselves out of our spot of value because they saw that. They saw your value. But since
Yeah.
they don't feel valued, they want to trick you out of your value so that they feel valued when you start chasing. So
Hmm.
I hope that answers the question when it comes to how can Black women improve when it comes to relationships. Just continue to put yourself first because when you put yourself first, your partner will put you first as well, and vice versa. It's reciprocal.
Yeah, you said a few things there and that made me think of a question. So you said if we're valuing ourselves initially, then we're not as likely to get into these types of low quality relationships, right? But when you are in that space and you are noticing that the tables have turned of sorts, first, actually, I have one question. Do you believe that there is a certain amount of time? Alexis has given us the 90 days. We do know that some people can push past that 90 days, and some it's much sooner. And a lot of times we'll notice this within a week, 2 weeks. It doesn't take much time, but I think we start playing ourselves very early when it comes to relationships and getting to know other people. But what is a decent amount of time do you believe to kind of know this person's values and their standards? And then with that, when you start recognizing that they don't align prior to that chasing, prior to that changing, prior to becoming someone that you don't recognize, as a few people have noted here, what do you do?
I would like to argue that there's no timeline. People can take off that mask at any point in life. So, with that
Mhm.
being said, 3 months is usually a good marker where people get tired of pretending. But that 6 month mark, that's when you're able to see some things. That 6 month mark. But you do have, and I can only quote heterosexual relationships on this, there are many men who have woken up one day and decided, you know what, I'm tired of pretending. I actually don't like you to their
Mm,
wife.
mm,
And I want a divorce. You were convenient at the time to marry, and you made me look good on my arm when you were on my arm. I gotta go. And then they go off to get the next best thing. And you can argue that for same gender relationships as well, that can happen, right? Even after years together. And we also have to remember that people do not stay stagnant in their personality. They don't stay stagnant where they are intellectual wise. People continuously grow. So it's such things as growing apart and growing in different directions where you or your partner doesn't see the two of you together anymore for the long term, even though it may have been genuine two,
Hmm.
3 years ago, 6 months ago, etc. Right? People are naturally finicky. They're going to
Yeah.
do oftentimes what's best for them unless they've been tricked out their spot to continuously work for other people. Right? There was another
Hmm.
question that you asked, Charity, besides the
Uh,
timeline one.
Oh, what do you do? So when you find yourself, and you said people are naturally finicky, you actually led right up to it. So when we find that we're in that space where we need to go separate ways, I'm thinking before it gets to the bad part, before we get to the space where you're not doing the work anymore, or before we get to the space where I'm tired, I wake up beside a person I don't recognize. When we start noticing that it's something that's not going to work between us, what do you do? Like, how do you split? How do you end that?
Continuously look at actions because people can say, I love you. People can say all these beautiful things, especially with that pillow talk conversations. But if the actions don't align, that's your number one clue. So the minute the actions stop aligning with the words and the promises, and you're getting future faking and empty promises,
Mm,
just be on the lookout. And you have to accept that for yourself and be honest with yourself and not put the relationship or the person over yourself so you won't be psychologically and emotionally traumatized after you ignored the signs of lack of action for so long. So when it comes to that point, acceptance, really good acceptance. Never put all of your eggs in one basket with a person. You always have to say the majority of eggs for yourself. And that sounds like,
mm,
wow, wow. So is there ever such a thing as true reciprocation or true love? Maybe, but we also have to be realistic. We've been conditioned with these Disney movies and love stories, etc. But it's a reason why it's called a fantasy. It's a reason
mm,
why it's called a fairy tale because this is what the media gives you a glimpse of what could probably never happen. And that sounds really pessimistic, but we also have to be real with ourselves in order to avoid that emotional and psychological trauma by thinking that these fantasies could happen one day or they're real.
mm-hmm,
You all
mm-hmm.
to save the majority of your eggs for yourself because you can literally go into a psychological spiral if you give your all to a person and then they decide they don't want you anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Self love is the best love. Eat
Woo.
how to treat you.
Yes. I like to say self-love is my primary love language. It is first. I see, Anthony, do you have a question? I actually had a question for you while Justin was talking, so go ahead.
I was, as far as, when you asked the question about what do you do, I think that was the hardest thing for me, because even after a few months, this last relationship, um, at the beginning, I knew it did not work. When I first
Mm,
met this person, I was like, we can't go further than where we are. And this person put this guilt on me. And so I stayed because I felt like they kept saying I was looking down on them. And so I
yeah,
stayed in this relationship. And when I just couldn't take it anymore, I was exhausted. And they start manipulating the situation with a lot of crying and all this. And at the point of being that I had made it 6 months, how, that's difficult to walk away from somebody that you've gotten to know, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Especially if they just feel like they're doing their best. You know, any suggestions? Or I
I
don't plan
actually
on
want to
getting
say
in
one
another
thing to you.
relationship like that, but I'm just like, that was hard.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When people start, in my experience, when people start saying things like, they're, I think I'm better than them. I probably am, but that's not the point. If they're thinking those things and that's how they're speaking, they're not ready to be in a relationship with me, period, for whatever reason. And I'm done trying to figure that part out. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where I love when Dr. Justine said, putting your eggs in your own basket. The primary portion of my eggs are always going to be in my basket. And I can still love you wholly and fully from that space. However, that does not mean I'm going to allow you to get me to chase and choose you over myself.
Right.
And that comes into play very easily with exactly what you said. Your tears may be valid, but that doesn't mean I have to stay for them. You
Right.
know, it
Okay.
doesn't mean I have to be rude or mean, disrespectful, or any of those things. I can love you as a human being. I can see your dignity. I can see your worth. I can respect you, and I can still exit. And that's the thing we have to remember. You may even feel some guilt. That's okay too. But choosing you is what matters. And that was the point that Dr. Justine just made for us. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Alexis, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to speak on that as well because I can totally relate giving my all to a person and really having a psychological spiral, to the point where I had to take a hard look at myself and realize that I was operating out of desperation of love, like in a desperate place. And desperate people are dangerous. I was a dangerous individual because I was desperate. Because anybody that does not have self-love cannot have the capability or the capacity to love anybody else. And I had to realize that. I had to have a level of acceptance that hurt my own feelings. And I didn't
Mm,
even know how that was going to work. And I'm like, okay, I have to accept what's concrete, what's tangible. What's tangible, but I'm allowing this person to do this. I had to learn how to take accountability and responsibility because I was always a pointer. It's your fault. It's you. It's you. And it's like, no, we have options today. I have options. I have an option to stay here and I'm opting for that. And it was wild to me that I was so desperate for love and I didn't even know where that came from. So I had to go to therapy and I had to really talk about and open up a can of worms I was afraid to open for years and understand what was the root of the issue. Like, why am I dating the same person, different face? Why is it always this? Why does it always turn out to this? And I had to take accountability. Like, you are the common denominator, my friend. Alexis, it is you. And that hurt my feelings to realize that I was the problem. I said cheese and rice. I didn't realize that. But it was eye opening to say, okay, you have work to do on you because I agree. I feel like you kind of from my experience, you attract what you are. And I will say this, there was a brokenness inside of me I felt that could be smelt. It was a brokenness inside of me that I didn't even tap into. And I'm out here dating and I'm thinking they're causing harm to me, but I'm also causing harm to them because I don't love
mm-hmm.
myself, right?
Yeah.
I don't, I just, there's something about me that I want to do everything for you and nothing for me.
Mm,
And that
yeah.
never made, and now, I mean, then I would, rationalize it, but now I understand that I was definitely operating out of a place of desperation and, that's no good.
Okay. Okay. So it looks like we have some conversation in the chat. LaJoya, can you keep up with the chat for me? Um, let's see if there's anything.
I got you.
All right. All right. So I want to ask as a whole for everybody that's here, what does alignment look like for y'all now? We've all talked about coming out of certain types of relationships, being in the space of dating and loving ourselves more. When we think emotionally, when we think sexually, when we think financially, just the future of your relationships, what does alignment look like for you? Go ahead, Doc.
Thank you so much. I would definitely say alignment is not dating beneath you. And I know that it may sound harsh. Oh, then that means there's people above you and beneath you and align with you. But you just have to be, again, really authentic with yourself and how the world works. You cannot date anyone beneath you because then they'll drag you down to their level because they'll definitely feel inadequate by your side, right? I had one of my students tell me, well, Dr. Malthus, we were talking about love and relationships. And in office hours, I said, Dr. Maldonado, I met this woman and she's amazing, but I'm still in college and she's already in her career. And I just feel so inadequate with her, but she really likes me. And we had to have an honest conversation with, how do you think this will pan out with your feelings of inadequacy? Because that
Mm-hmm.
flipped the tables really quick and really fast, right? So alignment is definitely dating on your level and or above, right? And you have to be really, again, authentic and honest with, can you handle that above? But if not, definitely on your level and not beneath it. And if they value you the same way that you value yourself. Well,
Yes. And I
I
think
would
Nita, you said
say,
okay.
can I
Go ahead,
go?
Ashley. Go
I
ahead.
would say, having previous relationships and having some failed relationships, you take all the things that you learn from that relationship and you realize what you don't want and what you do want. So
Mm-hmm.
you align that with saying, okay, I need this type of partner. I need this. Like for myself personally, I know I'm an overthinker. So I'm going to need somebody that's going to explain stuff to me. And I know I need somebody that's patient. So you know that what you don't want because you realize in other relationships you didn't get certain things that you know you needed. Some people, you know, some people need different things when it comes to relationship. You need some people want intellectual conversations. Some people like, especially when it comes to love languages, realizing what your love language is. Some people don't like receiving gifts. Some people just like quality time. So it's like all about knowing what you want as an individual so that you can get what you want out of the relationship. So you won't be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else want to hit on that one?
For me, I I know that what would align with me is, for me personally, I need somebody that loves to dance, um, that loves to just love on their community. And I also need somebody stable, meaning that they need to be established to a certain point, because I am 50. I got my own everything, that I need. And I don't want to have to build anybody up. Going back to one of the statements that Dr. Justine said about um, taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves, one of the things that I found, I used to look a lot different than this. And while I was married, I was 318 pounds. Everything looked different about me. I was a whole different person. And just no pun intended, I looked like a bouncer, like somebody straight out of prison. Okay. And the thing is, when I start loving me, everything changed. The way people treated me changed. And even for me, as in dating now, I'm very well groomed. I'm lotioned up. Um, I pay attention to my skin. I always smell good when I'm out. If I'm out with somebody, my underwear matches. I'm very meticulous about what I look like and how I present myself. And my wigs show you what style, how I feel that day. You know what I'm saying? So, I just know from what she was saying, the importance of how you present yourself and what you want. Um, I don't look tired when I'm out, and it attracts a lot of attention. And I listen to my friends say, "Girl, we can't find dates." I don't have that problem because I don't go out looking for dates. I go out looking for a good time, and it's just, I totally agree with that. We got to present ourselves based off what we want to bring back. We have to. It's very important. But as far as alignment for me, that's what I need. Somebody that's really particular about their presentation and very stable, very stable.
Okay. my next question for you all is a little bit of a shift. What role does sex and sexuality play in dating for you?
I don't get enough sex. For me, as far as the role, um, sex is important, but it's still an intellectual type of thing for me. I don't walk in a room and look at a woman and say she has a nice ass or anything like that, or she has. At the beginning of the conversation, I think Dr. Jessamy said about it's more of an intellectual thing. If I can have a great conversation and I see that we align as far as what we're doing with our lives, I can change, a lot of things. I can encourage you, but a good conversation, oh, that's so sexual to me. I want it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I don't get enough of it, and because I don't take everybody home that I like, but I think that's something difficult for me as far as navigating. Because I don't want a partner that's still dating men either, and I'm seeing that a lot. Where women are still dating men on the side and they're not being honest with themselves. And I do not want anybody that's going back and forth between men and women. I strictly want a woman. So that's my view.
For me, in the beginning, I came out very early on in life. And in the beginning, everything was very fast paced. It was very much about sex. So I agree with Anthony. Like I couldn't get enough. I'm like, goodness, this is beautiful. Oh my God. I never knew it would be this great. But now, being 39, and it's just like I look at things very, very different. For me, I need to be able to connect with you mentally as well. I think that that mental stimulation just makes the intimate part way better. It makes everything feel I can't even describe the feeling that it gives me. It's just not like just okay, we having sex. Like, okay, all right, it's a thing. You can have sex with anybody who will have sex with you. You know what I mean? But to have
Hmm.
that thatness, I can't even describe it. Thatness to have that is is just top tier, and I that sex is very important to me as well because I want to be able to for me it's the intimate part of it. Like it's difference between sex and intimacy. I crave intimacy. Like I want to be intimate with you. I want to be able to have sex with you when not even physically having sex with you, if that makes any sense. Like that is what I crave because I feel like that will keep the relationship going, in a more authentic, genuine way. We can sex everywhere and do whatever, and that's great. Sex is actually healthy. Like it's okay to want
Hmm.
active, healthy sex life. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? But to have intimacy is something way, way different. And I feel like at this age and where I'm at now, mentally and emotionally, I crave intimacy. I crave somebody that's going to be kind, that's in tune with my body, that wants to
Hmm.
take its time. Because in the beginning, everything was just wham bam, rough, all right, this, that, whatever. And it's like now I want you to, okay, I like this, but I don't like that. You like this, but you don't like that. I want somebody that is paying attention, that is fully engaged. I need a full engagement, not halfway, not okay, well, you got nice this and nice that. Yeah, I know that I'm a beautiful woman today, finally. I can say that and with confidence. That I know
Yeah.
that I'm a beautiful woman. So it's like, okay, that's cool, but the intimate part is key. So I crave intimacy. That's like number one on my list because I want a partner that's gonna want to get to know me like they want it. I don't have to throw it on them like or tell them. I want you to want all of this. Oh, it gives me chills just thinking about intimacy because it's so just this is the only move I can make. It's just it's really
Yeah.
it's really deep and it's amazing when you can get somebody that's really in tune with you and really wants you. Like to be wanted in that way is top tier. So yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said there. As far as just the wholeness of sex. And it kind of sounds like we need to be redefining sex a little bit, because it does start before the touch, and once we start recognizing that and embracing it, we do have more intimate sex. We get to be more connected. We get to want to know the other person's body. You get to want to learn the other person. And so you hit on a lot of good points. All of y'all hitting on some good points. I wish we had time to like dig into each one. With that, LaJoya, keep me honest on time as far as how much we have available to us.
I got you.
Um,
Let's stop around 4:10.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Did anybody else want to hit on how important sex and sexuality is?
I want to say something. So she made a valid point. I view sex as a way to connect with my partner. So it's like to me, I have to have that connection. I can't just say I can find a woman attractive and not want to have sex with her right away because there is no like feeling there because I have to have the feel wanted and I have to feel like she wants me and it's like having that feeling and having that connection with that person already makes it so way better sexually when you get to know a person and they know you and so that means they know what you want and they know what you need and so it comes that more special. So I feel like being that it is a way to connect to your partner, you have to have that connection. You have to have like that bond with that person because having sex with a person, you're basically entwining your soul with that person. So it can be you can be left with it like a soul tie. So it's like a soulful thing to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Do we want to hit the question that's in the chat, LaJoya? Or did we cover it?
No. Jay Williams says she is new to dating, but intentional. I've been taught things to protect myself from with men, but not same-sex dating. It's different, but maybe the same. Any thoughts on this? And if Jay, you want to chime in, go ahead.
Well, I have a question as I read it when you say protect yourself from men. I think this is a lesson for I think many of us as young girls. And so usually that means a few things, but when you say it's different but maybe the same, like what do you mean as far as protection? What I've heard as far as the protection that's needed from the panelists is more so of being manipulated and being in a space where you're ending up taking care of people and it's not something that you agree to. And so those are the two things that are stuck out most to me.
I think too that what I've learned since I'm kind of new to this, just coming straight in, is that because I'm dealing with women now, I'm a little softer as far as I'm not as guarded as I was when I was dating men. And that can be dangerous too, because women, and I've been a woman who has been manipulative in a relationship before. And sometimes women can, just like men, manipulate situations and we kind of have a soft spot for each other, and so that can put us in more dangerous situations. So as far as answering that question, I think that's something that we have to be careful of because we do want all of us to win, and so we are a little softer with each other and we still need our guards up.
Yeah, I wanted to chime in and say that to be honest, it's genderless. I don't really I don't feel like is I get like with a man, but like how Charity said, like when we're growing up, how to protect yourself from men and how the lessons that you learn. But when you're talking about dating, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You got to protect you. Like just how the great doctor just said earlier, like don't put your eggs all in that basket. No, no, you got to have some eggs for yourself. You've got to have eggs for yourself. And people know they can smell it on you when you're the type to put all your eggs in their basket. And then they didn't ate all your eggs and now nobody got any eggs. We're eggless. You know what I'm saying? So, like, no, just protect your spirit, whatever that looks like for you. Protect your spirit. And like the doctor said, and all of the ladies have said, put yourself first. If you're first, everything else will take care of itself. Just put yourself first. Guard your own spirit. If it doesn't feel right, if the evidence says that it's not right, then you have some decisions to make.
There
You
we
know,
go.
you have some decisions to make. And just like how
Hmm.
Anthonita said, as women, and she admitted, we all can be manipulative. We all have that character trait. When we want something, we gonna get it. Just like how Ashley said, like we would use sex to connect with our partner more. Yeah, I'm gonna manipulate you through doing you good or doing you right or however it goes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you definitely got to protect your spirit. Even if you're new to this, protect it with everything that you have. And if they don't like it, that's between them and their Jesus. And then that means you have a decision to make.
Yeah. That was beautifully spoken for me. Um, all right. Antonita said something earlier about dating women and not wanting to be with women who are still dating men. I have a few questions. I have statements, but I'm not in the panel today for this part, so I'm gonna ask them. How important is that to you when dating? It has spoken on this, and then my follow-up question is why? Why is this important to lesbian women?
Dr. Justine about to fall out of her seat. So
Can
go
I go? Can I go
go
first?
ahead,
Or you want
sis.
to go
Yeah,
first,
go
Jess?
ahead,
You want
Ashley,
to go
Yeah,
first?
please.
go ahead.
Because I got something to say.
Let's hear it.
You want to be with somebody that actually feel like you, that really loves you and understand you. So you don't want to be like, and then it's that fear like they may leave you and cheat on you with a man. And so you have to sit here. You can't, you a woman. And so you have to realize that you're gonna be hurt because you're gonna feel like, okay, what is he giving her that
Mm,
I'm not giving her? But then you looking at the fact, oh, he's a man. And so it's like you can't really compete with that. And so you want to be with somebody that you feel like actually wants you. And when you're in a relationship, you want to feel safe. And so you're not gonna feel safe knowing that this person actually leads you and want to be with a man at any given moment. So it's like that right there is like, yeah, you want to be with somebody that really like women for real, because then they gonna know how to treat you, and actually they're gonna like say, oh, this man did this or this man did that, and then personally, personally for me, the first girl I dated, she was bisexual. The last thing she told me when we broke up, she said, "Sorry, you're not a man."
mm,
That hurt me
yeah, I'm sure.
because I'm like, I did everything I could to love you, but you're gonna look at the fact that I wasn't a man, so I can't love you properly. Is that what you're saying? And so that right there is like we really couldn't. She kept pushing me away because of that. It's like she got so used to being treated a certain way to where when I was treating her, loving on her in a certain way, she got used to that one thing. It's like she couldn't really recognize the love that I was giving because she was so used to that one thing. And so it becomes a thing because they always gonna have a comparison to being with a man.
Hmm.
So that's just my opinion.
I'm gonna let the doctor speak. I'm gonna add a question for you too, because Ashley just talked a lot about love, and it, it's not just the love. We talking about sex here too. We do. You have to include. There's no way around our sex and sex. There's just no way around it. So we have to speak to that, and you have to be very clear on that. Whether you, no matter how you identify, You have to be clear on that aspect. And you can't love somebody into only liking sex with one of us. It's that's not a thing. But I'm gonna let the doctor speak.
Thank you so much. It's a whole can of worms, and I hope I get to each and every worm that got released from this can. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit, and please follow this train of thought, okay? So we spoke a lot about connecting with the mind and attraction. If you have a woman's mind, if you can penetrate a woman's mind, you have access more than likely to anything else
Hmm.
in the body. But the downside to that is that can be dangerous as well. And that's where we get into that narcissism, emotional, psychological, and even financial manipulation, right? So, with that being said, with the mind in the body, if you have access to a woman's mind, you have different types of access based upon gender. We can't escape gender, and also the poignant social construction of gender, because men can do things that a woman cannot do. Women can do things that a man cannot do. So if you have a woman who prefers the energy and capabilities and abilities of a man, the intellectuality of a man, or whatever else that man has, that's what
Hmm.
she is going to go for. On the flip side, if you have a woman who enjoys the intellectuality, the capabilities, the ability, the intellectual access of a woman, that's what she's going to go for.
Yeah.
So, my second train of thought here, the other six worms that I want to get to, is that there are such things as down low women, okay? Just like down low men who are not, I believe Anthonita mentioned this, who are not honest with their sexual proclivities or sexual partners, right? Because this is another finding that I found in my study, where you have women who identify as lesbian, but they will still, on the down low, have sex with men. And a lot of women, black women specifically, are upset with this because we need to keep the black lesbian community safe. And let me go into what I mean by safe: sexual safety. Because physiologically, it's more dangerous to have sex with a man than a woman, simply because of that friction. You got the penis going into the vagina, you got the penis going into the anus, you got the penis going into the mouth. And that friction creates these microscopic tears that any bacteria or virus that's in that man's body can go more easily into that woman's body.
Hmm.
Saliva, kissing, licking, that can only do so much. It's a
Yeah.
0.00374 chance of transmitting HIV through oral sex. Very low, basically non existent, but a very, very high double digit chance of transmitting HIV through penetrative sex with an actual penis. So, with that being said, there are sexual health considerations, risks, and also emotional and psychological health risks and considerations when you come to dealing with down low women. And that also feeds into this narrative of biphobia, or dislike of women who go both ways, so to speak, within the gender binary.
Hmm.
Because just like Ashley mentioned, I believe, you cannot compete with penis as a woman. You just can't compete with it.
Yeah.
You can buy the dildos, you can buy all these toys. But when
Yeah.
it comes to you knowing that that partner can feel that sensation of the sexual interaction, it's no competition, and vice versa. So that's what was going through my mind with this
Yeah.
conversation. Gender definitely does matter.
I knew you would say that more eloquently than me. Oh, I'm glad I yielded.
And
Um,
that was my exact point, the one she made. I don't, if I want it in my mouth, I would date a man, so that was my whole thing.
you just gave me another question I'm not gonna go to right now. So, yeah, that was good. Alexis, did you want to chime in at all?
Yeah. For me, I feel that is disrespectful. I just feel like it's disrespectful, just like the doctor said, on just on a on a physical part, like the friction, everything. And to me, it's just like, how dare you? I feel so disrespected when I find out, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. And I had to
Mhm.
think deep, like, why do I feel disrespected? It's because I feel like you're not really into this. This is not really what you want. And people have a right to be bisexual by all means to date. I just would it's not about them being bisexual like in men and women. It's about the honesty piece. It's about the
Mhm.
honesty piece. Please be honest. Because when you're not honest with someone, you take away my right. You take away my right to choose. You limit my options now because now I can understand no matter how great you are, how good you smell, how sexy you look, how
Yeah.
intellectual you speak,
Yeah.
you do something that I just can't get jiggy with. There's no point in time where I would be like, okay, I'm gonna make an exception. Absolutely not. I'm not going to make the exception. So when they lie, I think it's the lying piece for me, not being honest and true to yourself. And if you don't want to be true to yourself, like I said, that's between them and their Jesus. God bless them.
Yeah.
You
Straight
know,
up.
but it's just like if you're entertaining me and you're being intentional with me, or you say you're being intentional with me, and then you lie about your preference just to get what you want, right? Because that's what people do. They lie so they can get their way. So
Yep.
it's like you're lying to take away my options, which is disrespectful and hurtful, and I don't even know you, and you're already lying. So if I don't even know you yet, and you're lying,
Hmm.
I really do get to know you. How many more lies are there to come? So yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a hard no for me.
You asked a good question. How many more lives are there to come? I also like this idea of the down low woman. I've never heard the word, and I'm so about to start using it. Like y'all gonna hear me say this. Y'all hear me speak again. We know where I got it from. Gonna give it to Dr. Justin. Like, oh, but I'm gonna go ahead and say where I got it from. But straight up, it's so real, and I'm with you too, Alexis. Like you taking away my autonomy, you taking away my power of choice, and that lets me know you don't respect me. That's why it's not respectful, because they don't respect you. They're not seeing you and your worth. They're not seeing you as a person worthy of making your own decisions, right? And so you're taking that away from me, and that's not right for us, any of us, to do. Most of us have said we've been manipulative in different situations, and it's just another way to do that. It's another way to do it. Let's see. Apply. Thank you. Yes. So this was surprising for me too. So we have being a DL applies to femme studs and androgynous presenting women too. Yeah, I've been surprised about this. I have a friend who works in the ER and talked about how many black lesbian women, masculine presenting women, come in and have different diseases. And as we just learned, some of these things it's very difficult to contract from dating women, having sex with other women, and then sometimes coming in and being pregnant, right? And it's like, well, how did we get here? We know the answer, right? But how did we get here? And it's the levels of dishonesty, like with yourself. What I question what's going on with them mentally, but I don't really want to know in a romantic or intimate space. You could be a friend, possibly. I don't know how far that could go either, but I don't want to know, right? And so I'm with you on that. Don't take away my choice. I also want to do a shameless plug and say I've written about some of these situations in my book that I'm going to post here in the chat for y'all. But we've hit on a lot of these spaces of just the not knowing. I had somebody sit with me and say, yeah, I sleep with men right now. I'm figuring things out, but I'm a lesbian. No, by definition, let's just talk about straight definitions and facts. This is not my judgment at all. I haven't even spoken my judgment portion. You're not a lesbian. That is not what that is. And so I think people being in this space where we want to accept people and try to define words ourselves is also messing a lot of things up for us because yeah, it takes away from going back to the safety aspect of it. And it's not right. That's not right. But I didn't say what I would say. I just want to be clear on that. But okay. I'm posting my book here too. When the heart breaks forward, if y'all get an opportunity, just take a look. Take a look. And once you read the back cover, I know you're gonna want to buy it, but take a look at it, and hopefully we'll have one of these calls and I get to talk about it a little bit more. But I want to thank everybody for joining us. This has been an amazing conversation. Did we get to all of our questions? Did we have any other notes, thoughts that we should go ahead and make sure we field?
All questions were answered in the chat.
Okay.
Um, any Final thoughts before I end it,
This
family.
awesome conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has truly been an honor. We will go deep inside to some of these questions and situations at our conference. The third annual Black Educated Lesbian Conference will be September 18th to the 20th. I do have to say it may be in Metro Atlanta or Charlotte. Yep, I'm always trying to do stuff. Um, but you all will know in advance. Um, it has truly been a pleasure. I will send an email out with some of the sayings that were posted in here. But it's truly been a pleasure. I thank you all for being a part of this panel. It was amazing. So thank you. All right. You all have an amazing afternoon, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.